Hello, so this is a project I did during my first semester at TAFE in my Advanced Diploma of Games. And the concept was a diorama type perspective game. And we just had to prove competency of doing a task and just a bit of texturing. But I finished my actual prototype pretty early on. So I've got a lot textured out and it's kind of almost done. So I'll let the game play it for itself. So first, when you play, you're going down an elevator and you can't move around because you're locked. And when you get down to the bottom, then you're allowed to move around. And I'm going to move over to the ladder. And then this switches between rigid body movement around instead of up and down. And I've also toggled the gravity off so you don't fall down and you can go up and down. And when you get to the top, then it toggles it back. So the main concept is you're a stone golem and you can go around and you can pick up wood. So when I pick up some wood, I grow bigger and I can go back again, get that to spawn back in and pick that up. So the main concept is you can construct yourself, pick up wood, and also deconstruct yourself. So I head over to the bridge and says, the remains of an old bridge, perhaps I could build it again. So now if we follow the instructions at the start, where it said we can place down planks, when I place down some planks, then the bridge slowly builds. Place another plank, and I've got a little cheat on allows me to spawn more planks in just for demonstrations. So I'll spawn another plank, and now the bridge is fully built. And so all these, I'm using the HD render pipeline, and this is a shader graph from the lava. And all these models were sculpted in ZBrush and textured in Substance Painter. And towards the end, I'll show them a bit more. So if I go over here, the camera moves back and it gives us a better view of what we want to see. And I look around, you see there's lava here. What could we do? Okay, let's get over there. And I'll leave that little guy to the end. Here's another project I did. So you can walk around, you can say, okay, so these, it looks like wood. Okay, how could it be burnt down? So there's lava here, okay. So if I go and I pick up some wood and I grow bigger, oh, hang on. So the actual pickup point is you need to be really precise in front of the wood to pick it up. Well, there we go. I need to fix that. So, okay, if I go into this, oh, I'm on fire now. So after 12 seconds, I will burn out. But because I'm a stone golem, I'll go back to my first form while the wood burns out. So there we go. And so I'm just going to chip some more wood in, catch myself on fire. And then this time I'm going to catch these vines on fire. And now they're on fire. Well, there's a bit of flashing because the bloom actually, the fire on the golem and the vines overlap. So it's a bit of flashing. And you can go to the end and pick up more wood. That message should have gone down. Maybe I've overlooked that. So you can pick up more wood over here. But for the purpose of this, I'm going to chip some more wood in. And the bigger your form is, you see, the faster you go. So I'm slower and I'm faster. It's really hard to see here, but this is some water. I've done it so if you catch yourself on fire and then you touch the water, you get extinguished. So I walk along here, and then there's this moving platform. So the moving platform, when I head onto it, there's a script. It actually sets the golem player as a child of the platform, so it allows me to move around. So I keep walking forward, and then I stumble across these big ice cubes or spikes that we come across before. So how could the ice be melted? So from before, we thought, okay, I can catch myself on fire and burn stuff. What about if I catch myself on fire this time, and how do I burn the ice down? If we place down the plank, look at that, it starts burning it down. So the more planks are in there, the harder the multiplier goes up. So I'll just shoot some more planks in. Oh, there's that bit of bloom from before. So yeah, 3 planks in, then it turns 3 times as fast. And from I think the last plank that was put in, that's when the timer was set to. So I head on forward to the door as it's open now. And now I'm walking through the door. Chip some more planks in so I go a bit faster. I have no camera properly set up here. So, because there is a clipping, that'd be a nice little feature to add in so the camera zooms towards the player a bit more and you don't see the ugly clipping. So as I head across these stone platforms, that's the water shader. It's using a fractional noise and it's on an offset of moving. I'll show the shaders towards the end. So I'm now in the hero room, and as I enter the hero monument, I grow really big. Because the purpose is there was a crystal and you grow big and can get really big. And why you want to get big? Towards that guy in the end, let's see what he does. So I'm going to make myself a bit smaller so I can just see my surroundings a bit better. So yeah, I never really got to the end of finishing the project, but I showed enough competency of what to do, and I was just focused on the texturings, and that was really fun to do. So now I'm in the end, and here's the boss. So the ending was pretty much he's a tree boss, and the little enemies that you fight. So his minions are water enemies, and they have to shoot water to extinguish the tree boss. And you catch yourself on fire, place down the planks to burn him. So that's pretty much the purpose of that. So now let's show you a bit about the game. And so this is I'll show you the scenery mode real quick. So this is more of a presentation mode that I implemented. So if I press enter, let me wait for this to end. So you're in game. Oh, and also say if I have planks on me and I die, then I get reset back to having no planks on me. So if I press enter, it enters the scenery mode. And so this is the first camera, and then you got the second one. So pretty much the cameras that were set up before. And if I hit P, then after, so the text dims a little bit, and after that was 5 seconds, they switch around. So I'll give it a few seconds. Yeah. And I'll just turn that off real quick. So yeah, this is the hero room, and then the last one was the tree boss. And this guy was actually I've modeled him completely in the substance in ZBrush, sculpted, and then I textured him in Substance Painter. It was a fun little project, but I should have done some blocking in Maya before to put it in, because it's one of my first times actually using ZBrush properly. But it was a fun little thing to do. So now I'll minimize this. And so the actual lava shader is this one. For this to build real quick. So there's a lot of testing around in here. You've got the main premise of like the textures for the lava flows. I'm using Unity 2018.3. So this is a beta alpha version of shader graph. So sometimes the actual views don't show properly, but in this case they're actually rendering, which is good. So you can see how the lava goes through, and this is a Frenzel effect. And what that does, if I look in the scene view, when I rotate the camera down, see how it glows a lot brighter? So that's that Frenzel effect. That's why when I was in the game, towards the end, it looked more glowy. And then that goes through all this. And this is the main PBR master node. And I have this lava transparency because I have a bit of fog in my game. If this is set to 1, when you're completely solid and not transparent, the actual lava renders above the fog. So I did a little hack and I decreased that a little bit so it looks like it's behind the fog, but it's slightly transparent. And then up the top here, what was this again? Oh yeah, this is the actual, just one of the animations, tiling and offset. What is this for starters? That's the, this is the position. Okay, so this is all this in here is actually animating the offset. So I have a flat mesh with, probably not 100 faces. I'll say 10 faces. Yep. Yeah, 10, 1, 2, yeah, 10 faces, 10 by 10. And so that animates the individual vertices. That gives them this wavy little form, and that's how the lava works. As for the water is really simple. It's you got the offset down here. So okay, the water doesn't actually have an offset in the sense of moving. It has the offset in the sense of the textures. So that's when you saw the fractional noise before moving around. So yeah, so that there, all that is this in here. And then you've got the that Frenzel effect. So this helps with the actual transparency of the water. So you look up top, you don't really see it. When you look down, you can see into it a bit more. I think I set that one up properly, but normally in the real world, when you look down at water, you can't really see through it because it's reflecting. But when you look more of an angle, you can see more into it. So that's what this was replicating. And the fire shader, this was a tutorial I followed. It's a pretty neat little tutorial. So basically, you have the time in here, and you have two parts of the fire. So all of it is generated except the actual texture. So you've got some gradient noise, some offsets, and you add in some little dots and whatnot. So here we go, you can see an example. So this is the actual texture, and all of this before here is making the texture go wonky like that. And then these little dots give the fire an extra little dots. And then you get some color in, and there's your fire. And then there's the master node. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Over the right, the player, I've got the player movement script with the different stages that I switched to the current stages. Another player controller with the actual for the wood, sorry, and the mesh goes through all this, the different speed values, and then you pick up drop items script. And then for each of the actual, like when you go to the bridge, you've got the triggers. So if I go trigger and I do the bridge camera trigger. Oh. So this first box, the text what the plank is, and this bigger box is like for the camera. So when I entered that, if I go to the camera change, so I've got a main camera. So the main camera, and it follows the player with the offset. So this gets the offset of when I first start the scene. So this start camera here, and see the fixed position temp. So basically when I go through the bridge, it goes, so where's the truth? So it then references back to that camera script, which is, look up there, references to that. And the canvas basically is what, when I pressed enter, it had the scene view and it told me what camera it was on. That's what that refers to. And you got the camera fixed positions and the text fixed positions. So it moves this WASD text. So this is linked to the player. And this actually moves to the position of where it said, could we cross this bridge or not? And then I've set these up for each individual of the trigger camera changes. So this one in a sense has a camera position, a text position, and it has text. So if I hover over here, I got a tooltip. So 0, don't toggle. 1, toggle once. 2, always toggle. So 2, when I go to this camera, I have to always change. But if I wanted to go to, on the case of those vines that burned down, I want to toggle once. And see, remember how the text didn't disappear before? That value probably was changed, was on 2 to toggle once. And yeah, so when it actually destroyed the game object, before I did have it, so it changed it to 0, don't toggle. So maybe it didn't save when I did that change. The text down here and the scenery camera, which I don't think that's needed anymore. Because when I was doing some the other coding before for the actual scene camera, I didn't need that. So yeah, reset zones. So this is, it's a big one. That's the main reset zone. And then inside it, I've got one for the first area, one for the second area. So if I would have died around here, I would have spawned up there. But if I died around here, I spawned there. Also, if we have a little look around, so yeah, you've got like a big model here. All the canvas is in the way. And I've got some little models around here. So these are prefabs. So one of them is the actual model, but when you prefab them, put them in Unity, they actually all even though the individual models, they reference back to the same model, so that saved heaps on GPU rendering. Got the crystals. Here's a little tomb, or what did a pole totem that I did. It's really fun doing this because if I change to the shaded wireframe, maybe just wireframe. So when you put it in Unity, it triangulates everything. So there's a lot of polys. It looks like there's a lot more than it actually is, but it's actually really low poly. So basically, if you get rid of these lines here, so if you half down the lines, that's so many faces there would be. But with all that, and using Substance Painter, you get some really nice effects. So let me just move the slide around a little bit. It's really intense. So this like actually, it's on, I have a script on here where it lets between two values, so 0.1, 0.2. That's a neat little thing. I'll just undo that because I'm not in play mode, so I gotta be careful. And then I've got chains over here, and there's a, on the actual object. Oh, I've made triggers somewhere else, but there's a box trigger, and then you enter that, and it catches you on fire. And on the actual player, is on play control. Yeah, is on fire. So basically, ticks his value here, and the wood stack amount. Yep. Hit on through here. So as I was originally doing, basically blocking out in Maya, bringing it into ZBrush, sculpting, then back in Maya retopologizing, and then textured in Substance Painter. What I did is I found out, I knew about it, never really used it. It was Substance Designer. So this is actually, it's pretty much a flat plane with, there's a few divisions in it, so you get a bit of, tiny bit of weight. But yeah, there's a bit of bumpiness, you could say. And so this actual, so originally what I would have done is I would have put this in ZBrush, I would have manually, I would have sculpted all of these bricks out and then retopologized and textured in Substance. But I actually used Substance Designer. And in that, I just made a simple alpha of a few little bricks, a seamless texture, and then I just applied it to this, and it's basically faked it. And it's the same with these. So you can see right here. See, this is really low poly, this object. So I just changed to wireframe. Look at that. You got one face there, one face, another face. You got, I think there's like 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 6 faces around there. The main body, and look, it's really neat. Like, it's amazing how these textures are so flat. They look at the detail. So a good example is if I go to this. So you look around, you look at it, and you say, that's pretty detailed, that model. But when you look at it on the side view, see how it's completely flat. So yeah, that was fun experimenting with that. And then my little tree boss guy, tree knight, I've actually put him on my art station, this guy. It was fun to do. Yeah, so half wood, half knight. He was an adventurer. He was a magic caster, and his magic went out of control and he got trapped in this dungeon. And that's his story. Yeah, I'm kind of idling a little bit. That's everything. Yeah, that's my project. It was really fun doing that. I really enjoyed it. And yeah, so I will catch you later with another video update whenever. There actually will be one quite soon. I won't tell you why. If you read up on my blog, you might know. There's little hints of what's coming, but yeah. All right, bye-bye.